Yo, how's it going, my fellow revelers? Welcome to another episode of the FestiHeads podcast. I'm your host, Manny, aka Frisky Hug, and today's episode we have FestiHeads. Um, his name is Dillon, but his company and like internet persona is FestiHeads. You might know him as the light up marshmallow helmet guy. He basically has a company where he makes and sells these like custom light up marshmallow helmets basically. We talk a lot about like who he is as a person, how he got started with the brand, some of his like festival stories, and just more stuff pertaining to like where he's been at pre-COVID, post-COVID. Before we get started with today's podcast episode, we will be doing our 4 shoutouts of the week though. And just a disclaimer, guys. During this podcast, I am like closing my nose, and like I don't know. I feel like shit. I look like shit. I'm still recovering from EDC Orlando, getting better from this whoop flu I encountered. Um, it's okay. It is what it is. I ended up with the whoop flu. I am feeling a lot better today actually than I was yesterday. But just wanted to put that out there. If I look like shit on the YouTube video, that is why. That is 100% why. I'm just, you know, I'm doing the best I can out here. And then also all of the Instagram handles and stuff like that will be in the description below. If you want to check out any of these 4 shoutouts. First shout out though is gonna be for a content creator. That's gonna go to Scarlet Vesper. I had the luxury of meeting Scarlet Vesper at EDC Orlando for the first time. It was so awesome seeing her in person. We have talked a lot. So getting to see her, getting to see the real deal, the real person. I first found out about Scarlet Vesper through Instagram. Her Instagram handle just blew up. I think I've been following her since she had like 10K. I think she's like way over 200K, maybe like 270K. I haven't checked. But it's in the triple, thousand digits for sure. Uh, she always has amazing original content. She always does like skits for the most part. Like oh gosh, I can't remember the last skit that she did, but I just literally saw one of her videos yesterday. Super funny and super relatable content. She then translates the TikToks into Reels as well. So she also has Reels available. So Scarlet Vesper on IG is Scarlet Vesper _ Raves, I believe. All right, and let's go with our number 2 shout out, which is going to be for a DJ. This one's going to go to Layz. Instagram handle, I believe, is LayzDubz, if I'm not mistaken. LayzDubz, right? I'm not going to look at myself. I'm just going to say it is. And if it isn't, just look at the description below. But Layz has been killing it, man. She has been playing at some of the like big festivals lately. I mean, she played at Lost Lands. She played at EDC Las Vegas. She played at EDC Orlando. She went on tour, I believe, with Riot 10. And then she just started touring with Sullivan King as of last Wednesday. And she's going to be probably MIA until March while she's doing this like bus tour with Sullivan King. I'm really fortunate to know her in person. And I'm very happy for her, honestly. She has been working very hard, and it's really nice to know that like hard work finally pays off. So congrats, Layz, on all of your accomplishments. If you aren't following her, this is like one of those like you need to be following her. I think she's done being up and coming. She's already there. Definitely check her out. As for number 3 for the shout out is going to be for a company, brand, or I think it's just brand or company. This one's going to go to KevinPsychedelik. This is a clothing brand that makes a lot of like female and male rave attire. one thing I got to say about KevinPsychedelics is I love the designs. Most of the times it's a very trippy designs. So if you're into that trippy like rave attire aesthetic, they will provide you with great trippy attire. The best part of it all is it's very affordable. It's probably one of the cheaper priced rave brands out there. I think the joggers go for like $40 or something, or maybe 50. I'm not really sure, but even that's still pretty cheap considering like the prices of these other rave brands. Um, and then I believe you could use code Chubby, or is it code Wubby? I think it's code Wubby. Or you can go to my girl Chubby Wubby's like Instagram, and she'll have like her codes on there. But she's an ambassador for them. You can definitely use her code, get some money off that. So on top of that, it's like discounted price. But yeah, that's KevinPsychedelics. Definitely check it out. And then now we have a shout out for number 4. That's going to be for a supportive friend or follower. This one's going to go to my buddy who I have to say at EDC Orlando. At EDC Orlando, he took care of me. His name is Ray. I believe on Instagram is RayJJoseph. I don't really remember his like actual Instagram handle. I'm not even sure if he wants me to put this Instagram handle out there, but I'm going to because the rave dad in him really did show. He's more of a rave uncle, if I'm going to be frank. But I was completely lit day 3, just having a great time. And, I wanted to hang out with him, and he like made sure like I was with him, didn't get lost. It was pretty dark out there. He wanted to make sure I was okay, make sure I had enough water, the essentials and stuff like that. And I gotta say I felt very safe, very comfortable. And he definitely made sure that I was in a good spot in his group. He had about like 30 some heads with him, and he introduced me to everybody, made sure that I knew everyone's names. But that's my boy Ray. Wanted to give him a shout out. Ray, if you're listening to this, just know I love you, brother. Thank you so much for inviting me into your Ray fam for the weekend of EDC Orlando. I had an amazing time with you and your friends, and just want you to know that. All right, so that was our 4 shout outs. And like I said, today's podcast episode is going to be with FestiHeads, and I can't wait for you guys to check out the episode. So let's go ahead and start. All right, so I'd like to welcome FestiHeads to the podcast.
Man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, some people might know you, some people might not, but if you wouldn't mind.
So my name is Dillon. My online alias, I guess, is FestiHeads. I'm from Nashville, but I actually live in Phoenix now. Moved here at the end of last year, just for a bunch of different reasons. Lived in Nashville my whole life, just kind of needed a change of scenery. I started building helmets in April of 2017, and it's been a pretty wild ride. I mean, when I built my first one, I basically just had too much free time, and it turned into something where like people recognize me at festivals, and I'll be at a festival and see one of my helmets in the crowd just randomly. It's happened at every festival I've been to since I think June of 2017, whenever I started making them for other people. And it's definitely like I said, I was not expecting it to turn into what it turned into. It was really just originally just a project to keep myself from going crazy. But yeah, I've
what inspired you to, I guess, start making these marshmallow helmets?
Yeah, so I first got the idea. I was at Decadence, Colorado, in 2017 or 2016 into 17.
Okay.
I saw some people that had made some customized ones, and that kind of got me going. I was like, I'm gonna make a marshmallow helmet. And my festival group was like, okay. And so I originally set out to make one with lights in it. And then the lights part kind of scared me off. So
Yeah.
it turned into, I built a couple with some cool designs. But I mean, before that kind of happened, I bought all the materials and then they just kind of sat there. I would like play with them a little bit, didn't really do anything with them. I was working for Tesla at the time. I was in sales at the Nashville showroom.
Okay.
And then I kind of found myself with an abundance of free time about April of that year. I went on a cross-country road trip with my roommate Mark, who had bought a Tesla Model X. It's the one that does the doors that go like that.
Okay.
We drove across the country. We went to Las Vegas and LA and San Francisco. And I'd cleared this trip with actually I already had the time off with my manager. But I asked for an extra day so I could visit the Tesla factory just for fun. And they said that was cool. My manager said it was cool. So we go out there, we get to California, and I check my schedule and I see that I'm working on Thursday, which is also my birthday. Or I think it was the day after my birthday. I was visiting the factory on my birthday and the day after. So I call my manager up. I'm like, yo, what's the deal about my schedule? And she was like, well, things changed. We need you here. And I'm like, the Pacific Ocean is within sight. Like I can't fly to Nashville tomorrow.
Oh, 100%. Like,
so, and again, it was not, if I had been, I was literally visiting the factory where the product that I was selling was made. So I figured it would be okay. Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
I actually got fired 2 days after my birthday for missing one day of work to visit the Tesla factory. It was technically an unexcused absence because I didn't call the day of. I told them I wasn't going to be there, but I didn't call the morning of. So it was technically a no call, no show.
But I mean, so, you were not scheduled to work though, right? Like
I wasn't. So actually, I wasn't scheduled to work. I technically got fired for missing 2 days, but one of them I had the day off. Like I had it in writing that day was off. It was the day after, the extra day that I took.
Damn, bro, we gotta hit up Elon Musk. Everybody tag Elon Musk right now.
I mean, it worked out. It worked out okay. I mean, I kind of think, obviously that was a pretty. I loved working there. I mean, I still love the company, and I really respect what that organization has done to kind of make renewable technology cool.
Right.
But it was pretty. I mean, I loved working there. It was the first thing I thought of when I woke up in the morning, and the last thing.
You own a Tesla too, right?
Yeah, I've got the Model 3. It's the one that starts at 35.
Okay.
I actually took delivery of that one from the store that I used to work at, which was a pretty fun little experience. My manager that fired me was still working there, and she conveniently had, things to do every time I would show up. And then one day I kind of showed up to charge at the store.
I love that. It's like you went from working at Tesla to creating light up helmets.
yeah, definitely. It's definitely unique. Life path for sure. It's always fun to explain what I do to people. But
what do you do now? I mean,
so I actually I built these before COVID. That was like my full-time thing. And then COVID happened, and for the first few months through about June, I was, I actually had done better than I'd ever done before. I was, building better stuff, building more of it. And then it kind of was kind of convergence of a couple different factors. But once it kind of became clear that, festivals weren't going to be coming back in September, like they, originally told us, just stay inside for 2 weeks and everything back in a couple months. Once we were about 5 months into a 2-week lockdown was when it started to get, I just started to kind of spiral. I kind of lost all interest in really everything. I just kind of didn't know what to do. And part of it was because, I had planned to move to Arizona at the beginning of last year. Obviously, the plan was to move out here in April, which ended up being the lockdown month. So I delayed that, kept pushing it back, it back, just holding pattern of like, I know what I want to do, but like, is it smart to do this during the middle of a pandemic? And I definitely, it was pretty tough to deal with. I still think I'm kind of dealing with the remnants of last year. I mean, I feel more like myself, but I still definitely, it was hard losing festivals. I mean, beyond it being my, main source of attention and stuff for FestiHeads, it was, I get a lot out of meeting people at festivals and going to them and talking.
I feel like everybody had a weird like shift change once COVID happened. I mean, but I mean, a lot of good came from it. I mean, we got closer and stuff because we started Zoom chatting literally every day.
Yeah. I remember those. We would do those like virtual festivals or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd all do like in the Zoom chat, do those together, and I would be building helmets in the background. And
I remember.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like I kind of stalled out toward the start of the summer, and just really didn't know, what to do with myself. But I moved out here.
So where's out here? Phoenix?
Phoenix,
or,
yeah.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah. And when I first moved out here, I was like, I need to get a job that, just is a hard job.
Yeah.
Just
Something sustainable.
Yeah. And not even just to like, part of the reason I started FestiHeads was after my experience at Tesla. One of the lessons I kind of took from it was, you can go from a dream job to a nightmare job with a manager. And to me, it feels like when I'm working for someone else, I've got, so much of my fate is tied to, the whims of my manager. Like, for example, so I got fired, and I found out from one of my coworkers a couple of weeks later that the day before I got fired, my manager found out that she was getting a divorce. So like, I don't know how much that
right,
like each other.
Like how much of that are you taking out on me?
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely I want to be independent, because then it's it's all on me. If I screw up, it's on me. If I it's on me. And I just feel like that's kind of the path that I want to take. But anyway, so I got this job doing solar panel install when I first moved out here, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up on a roof, carrying on solar panels all day. It was cool. I mean, in February and January, Phoenix is amazing for working outside. Getting to see the sunrise from a different rooftop every day was pretty cool. But I was kind of like, you know what? I don't know if I want to be on the roof when it's 120 degrees out here. Mm-hmm. And also, I mean, the amount of money you make from it, at least when you're starting out, is not worth the trade-off. Is like, if I mess up doing this job, I could die. Like literally, if you fall off a roof, you could die.
Well, even in Arizona, man, I mean, those summers, the 120 is being generous.
It's on the ground, and then you on the roof in the sun, and then the tiles get super hot. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to be doing this. So I actually moved to a different solar company. One of my old coworkers from Tesla, actually one of my old roommates, who happens to live out here. We were talking one day, and one thing led to another, and then I ended up doing kind of an office job there where I was kind of doing the permit side of things. And that job was cool. I mean, it was good to just have a schedule. And like, it was the first salary job I ever had, where I just was like, if I show up to work, I'll get paid, and I know how much I'm going to get paid. But the thing with salary is there's a ceiling. So I'm moving into sales now, but the main thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to, pull all the different pieces together. That kind of, when COVID happened, just my sense of like what to do with FestiHeads kind of just blew up. I'm trying to pull all that back together, and be ready in time for festival season this coming year, starting in kind of March. So
because I think EDC Orlando usually kind of ends the festival season. Of course, we have like our New Year's and stuff, but that doesn't really count. I mean, everybody and anybody's going to a New Year's thing. But I mean, festival season is technically over. We do start back up in March. I don't know what kickstarts it. I don't know if it's Forbidden Kingdom or if
Oh
it's
yeah, you're right.
Okeechobee.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was actually supposed to do EDC Orlando. I
Yeah,
have
bro, you fucked up, man. You
I
fucked
know
up.
I've definitely fucked up, and I got on social media a couple times over the weekend. I
You
was
fucked up by doing that too.
yeah. And then it's like I couldn't check it, and it was just like I was seeing my friends post Snapchats and stuff, and they're like, "Where
Yeah,
are you?"
FOMO was real, bro. If you didn't go to EDC Orlando, that FOMO was fucking real, bro. Anybody and everybody was there.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah. Part of the reason I didn't go was because like, I just I kind of treated it like, this is not going. This is going to be really painful to not go. And the feeling that I feel right now, I never want to feel it again. I'm
Yeah,
missing something because I didn't have my shit together. I didn't get done what I needed to get done. And I definitely, it's definitely it sucked, honestly, knowing that I should be there and like knowing that I spent the money on a home base ticket.
mhm.
Um,
Wait, so you had a home base ticket?
yeah, yeah. And just, I mean, really more than anything, just like not seeing my friends.
Yeah.
It's definitely one thing that I've last year really magnified my like the feeling that when you're with your friends, you're like you don't know when you're going to see them.
Oh, 100%, man.
That's normal times, but then you lock everyone up for a couple months. And I mean, I was Mr. Corn. Like, I followed all the rules at first until it kind of was like, oh well, no one else is following the rules. But it was hard, not being with your friends, and I was lucky to be in a situation where I had actually moved home with my parents because I'd planned on moving out here, and then the pandemic hit. So I was planning on spending like 2-3 months with my family.
It turned into a year and a half.
But I mean, it's if there's a silver lining, it was getting to spend time with my family. Because now that I live on the other side of the country.
And I'm sure your family appreciated it too, especially like now that you are in Arizona.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we actually never really we never really had any issues with it, like just getting in like arguments or whatever.
Yeah.
But I could tell that like especially like towards September, my parents were kind of getting that like, get your shit together, like fucking figure it out. Like whatever you're gonna do, you need to do something. And the something was I actually had texted one of my old customers. I think he lived out here. He's a realtor in Phoenix. And I texted him, I was like, yeah, if you see any places come up that kind of match this description, let me know. He texted me one day and he's like, hey, my friend Scott has an open spot in his house. Schedule a call with Scott, and like Scott and I are kind of on the same wavelength. I mean, we were literally like finishing each other's sentences. That's like the first phone conversation. Same wavelength being where, I like to have fun, but I also am at the point in life where getting shit done is also something I want to do. I had a lot of fun, in 2017, 2018, 2019.
Yep.
But part of it's getting older. I just physically cannot do what I used to do. But also it's like, the feeling of getting something done is a different kind of fun. Waking up on Sunday morning and not being like, just shriveled up, like
destroyed.
Is really nice. But I flew out here in beginning of October, signed a lease, and then didn't move out here until December. But the deal was so good that I was like, I just need to sign this deal. I'll pay 2 months rent and not live there, but it's worth it to get this place and lock it in. And honestly, it's worked out perfect. I had a pretty insane living situation for a little while. It was fun, but lived in this big house downtown Nashville. And for a while, it was kind of the after party spot for every show.
Yeah, that can get old after a while.
And then 100 plus person, 200 person parties. I don't think it ever got to 200, but it got above 150 a couple times. And the first time the first big party we had, I didn't even really know what was going on. I like went to I think it was Liquid Stranger, and went home early, kind of blacked out at the show, went home early, went to bed, and woke up to somebody banging on my door.
Yeah.
And I opened the door and they're like, dude, you need to come out here. And I'm like, what? And there's like the second floor is just basically hallways and bedrooms, packed. Standing room only. Like, what the fuck? So I go downstairs and like poke my head around the corner, bottom floor, standing room only. People in the front yard, people in the backyard. I go to the third floor. There's like this deck, people on the deck. There's like a DJ with. I'm like, how did this happen? But it turned. I mean, it was definitely. I'm glad I got to have that experience because it's something I always kind of wanted to do. Was just like live in a house like that. And I mean, there was one time I was at a show and somebody came up to me like, "Yo, your name's Dillon, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they said, "You make those marshmallow helmets, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they go, "Dude, you throw the best parties." And I was like, "Oh my God."
That is the sweetest thing anyone's ever said.
But yeah, it was fun for a little while, and then stuff started to get stolen. Holes started appearing, walls. Somebody stole my pillows one night. Like I opened my door.
You got nice pillows, bro.
I literally had just bought them the day before. I was like, I'm gonna splurge a little bit, get some nicer pillows. I mean, they weren't like crazy nice, but
I really want some heavier pillows, man. Like my buddy doesn't leave anywhere without his like Tempur-Pedic fucking like 5-pound pillows, man. And I have like my $1 pillows from Walmart, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Get like 3 of those. It feels good, I think.
Yeah, my move at a festival is I just bring just cheap blanket, cheap pillow.
I did that for EDC Las Vegas. I literally bought 2 pillows, put them into space bags, and then I hate to be that kind of guy, but since I'm flying, I don't really have that kind of room. But I just threw those pillows in the trash. Like, I don't know. I know I'm like terrible for the environment, but you know, when I'm flying back, half my space bags ripped, so I don't have the space for them. So things had to go.
I mean, I would imagine that you know, if we had AC, like if we were
oh my God. Don't get me started on the AC, bro.
So so hot.
Yeah, so. I have a theory that they weren't done like setting up the campsites, and they were like, oh, let's leave the ACs for last, just in case we don't get done. At least if we don't get to the ACs, then it's fucking, you know, cold enough at night that they won't complain, which we did complain. But I think that was like their logic, right? Because like half of the tents didn't have the tarp over them. Like, for me, that means that they weren't finished with the campsites. I mean, the VIP mattresses and stuff like that weren't even blown up. Like they didn't finish setting up for the campsites. But I believe personally that they left the ACs to be last, and if they didn't get to them, then at least the ACs were the last things. I think they were prioritizing like just the tents.
Yeah, no, we talked to someone that worked there. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. I can't remember. But they basically said, yeah, they weren't ready.
Yeah.
At one point, I mean, this is, you know, it's one person. Obviously, the people that are putting the tents up are not sitting in on, you know, meetings with the CEO and the boardroom and that kind of stuff. But it was some of the stuff that she told us definitely kind of lined up with our like idea that they just were not ready to have that festival.
They were just not properly staffed, honestly, man. It's like, and they canceled Camp Down, Camp Out in Okeechobee due to staffing. And I think that's smart. People were complaining like, oh man, the Okie like venue is much better. But you know, if you don't have the staffing, you don't have the staffing. And I think they did a smart move by moving it to Orlando and canceling camping. I'm like, if you don't have the staffing, bro, then you're making the right choice. Cancel camping. It is what it is. But yeah, when they should have figured out a way of like having more people help out? I mean, it's Vegas. How did you not have enough people to help you
People
out?
want so they
Like,
should. I mean, I think a lot
biggest
of
city
it
in the
was,
United States.
I think, something I noticed with, I went to Lost Lands and EDC Vegas. I was supposed to go to Bonnaroo and Imagine. Obviously, those didn't happen. Still a little bit salty about that. But I think one thing I noticed is like the big details, like the production, all that kind of stuff was still amazing. The little details, the lines getting into the festival, the security, just like the small details were not there this year. And I think a lot of that's because, this is just my opinion. I don't know what I'm talking about, but my read of it is when they shut the industry down last year, I would imagine that Live Nation did everything they could do to keep their high level managers there, pay them through the pandemic, whatever. But the lower level people that handle the small details, like middle management and down, those people all had to get a job because the government shut everything down, but then didn't, they gave us a $1,200 check, which is that's a whole other thing. So bad they didn't help anyone, even though it was their fault that everything screwed up. But I think that kind of brain drain when festivals came back, people that did those lower level jobs didn't come back with it. And I think this year it was kind of apparent that a lot of people just didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be better in 2022, and I think by 2023 it'll be back. Hopefully it's back soon, but it was definitely there was just stuff that just didn't make any sense. Like at Lost Lands, the line to get into the festival, like the weather, the actual like.
Did you camp for Lost Lands?
Yeah.
So how long did you wait to get into the campsite?
I think we waited like 6 or 7 hours, which I mean, I know. And honestly, I'm not really upset. I mean, it's the weather. At least they had the festival because Bonnaroo and Magic got canceled. I was on the way to Lost Lands and I got the text like, "Yeah, we're not letting people in right now." And I was like, I swear to God, if this festival gets canceled. But the weather, I'll give him pass. Excision, he definitely could have been like, we're not going to have it. But while while they're keeping people out of the festival, they were like rebuilding the roads and like that definitely.
Yeah. Did they communicate with you guys? Like, hey, it's going to be like a 6 to 13 hour wait.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Well, I don't know if they ever communicated like specifically, but I was like, this is going to be a shit show. I was chilling with my friend in the car and we were just whatever. I made it into there, and as is tradition, I got put like the furthest like zip code away from the festival, which is like it's happened like 11 out of the last 12 times I've been to a camping festival. Doesn't matter what time I get in. If I'm first in line, last in line, it doesn't matter. I'm still in the back.
You were a little closer for EDC.
Yeah, a little bit closer.
I was the farthest you could have been from the entrance. I was so far back. There was it was like the staff entrance. That's how far back I was. I could see the freeway from where I was at.
That's usually me. But like the actual, once you got in, you were going into like the area where all the music is. They didn't have the little barricades that kind of like funnel the line, so it's just this mass of people, and it would take an hour and a half to get in to the festival, and it was just like that kind of stuff that I've never had to deal with that at Lost Lands before, and it was just like, why? Oh, you could see the barricades were all there, they just weren't set up.
Yeah,
and it's like, somebody's, because this is just inefficient. There was a lot of stuff like that I saw this year, and I'm hoping it comes, it comes back. I'm sure it will come back. I think it's just kind of an inexperienced thing with, and I could be completely fucking wrong because I don't have connections to the industry or whatever. This is just my kind of like my read of the situation from afar.
I just can't imagine, like, because some people did wait like 13 hours, just to get into the festival. I can't imagine, like, you said like gnarly shits and you're like, dude, what do I do? It's just like, what am I supposed to do, man?
Because I was lucky, autopilot can kind of, if the line moves a little bit, the car will move up for me. I was just thinking like, dude, it's gotta be exhausting to just be sitting in the car and move up like a couple feet. You have to still pay attention enough. You can't just like go to sleep. I was just like, that sounds awful.
Yeah, this is terrible.
And I mean, I know somebody that they waited like, they were in line for like 16 or 17 hours, which is just, that's actually inexcusable. Like and then they got put like even further than I did away from the main gate. And I think that kind of something, I don't know if it was just me this year, but something kind of felt different about festivals, just in the sense of like people, like I kind of noticed it at EC Vegas and Lost Lands where like people kind of had their groups and there wasn't like a whole lot of like intermingling. Like the way I was gauging it was like usually when I've got a helmet with me, people come up to me like, constantly and taking pictures, like I let them try it on, that kind of thing. And this year it was like people would kind of like give me like the little like wave or like that's sick, and just like not really, there wasn't like a whole lot of like interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was just me being like self-conscious or whatever. But even when I didn't have a helmet with me, like it just kind of felt like everyone still feels a little like on edge. At least, I don't know, that might be just me being crazy, but so I think it'll, as people go out and kind of get back into going to shows, I think it's going to go back to what it was to a degree. I mean, it's kind of hard coming to terms with it, but it's never going to go back to what it was before COVID.
So this episode is gonna be on YouTube, man. Do you want to show us a couple of those helmets?
Yeah. So
yeah, go for it.
Figure out how to do this.
You can just bring it closer, honestly, if you want.
This one right here, I don't have any of my like lights plugged into it.
Are you doing that's a Subtronics one, right? Like, are you like doing a lot more Subtronics ones lately, or is that like has that always been a thing?
So I actually I sat on the Subtronics design. I built it in like May of 2018, 2020, and I just kind of sat on that design for a while because I just didn't want to post it when there was no really like shows to go to and to use them at. But yeah, I think he reposted one of my helmets the other day on his story, which was cool. I got like a big influx of messages there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And then he like followed me one day on Instagram and commented on one of them. He's like, yeah, this is dope. And I think it's one of my favorite designs because it's easy to see out of.
Yeah.
A little easier to build. And Subtronics seems like a really cool dude, just in general. I remember back when I had a Twitter, he followed me on Twitter. He interacted with me one time. It was super cool. I no longer have a Twitter because I got banned.
Yeah, man, you gotta stop posting controversial shit, bro.
Yeah. Did I tell you what I got banned for?
You did, but I don't remember.
So basically, there's a video where I give like a signed marshmallow helmet to a kid with special needs at Imagine, and it was just like a very wholesome moment. It was like legitimately one of the best moments of my whole life. And the video, I posted the video on TikTok, and it blew up on TikTok. Kind of blew up on Instagram, and then I posted it to Twitter, and it was fine. Blew up, kind of got attention on Twitter, and then like 8 months later, I went to log into my account, and it's like account not found, and I'm like, what the fuck? And did I forget my password or whatever? I checked my email, and I had gotten an email from Twitter saying that the video that I posted of me with Lance, the kid with special needs, had copyrighted music in the background, and because of that, they banned my account. It was like my third strike for that. Which is that's just like it's
They
like
they have rules like that for Twitter, like copyrighted music.
apparently. I don't know if it was like
The amount of copyrighted videos I fucking post on there.
it's just it's so stupid because it's like who is going to rip the music from like it's like low quality like it wasn't even the
Yeah.
sound that I added. It was just like in the background. Like who is gonna rip that and listen to like 20 second? Like it just if anything, like you think that video would do I mean it wasn't Alan Walker that took me to some record but it was just like nonsensical, like this doesn't make any sense at all. And I've made another Twitter since then. It's still locked out, like literally have not used it at all. Because part of me is like, do I even want to use Twitter? Because Twitter is like, it's great for getting posting pictures and videos of what I do on there.
I personally don't understand the point of Twitter. I have Twitter because you gotta have every platform.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know how to use it. In fact, I debated having somebody else control my Twitter for me because I don't know how to use it myself. I had a guy at a festival actually come up to me and like, he's like, oh, like I would love to run your like Twitter account. If you let me, I could like be consistently like posting on it. And honestly, I was like, dude, that sounds like a badass idea. Like have other people run my social medias for me. I think the only thing that I would personally want to run is probably like my Instagram, but like everything else, I'm like, I wouldn't mind somebody else just kind of taking over.
I'm right there with you. Like I like making the content and like taking pictures and that kind of thing, but like the way to be good at social media is to just spend all your time on it. And I kind of took when I took a break from FestiHead, I took a break from social media, and I kind of noticed like my mind just started to clear because I think like the way that algorithms work and they just they boost controversial Twitter in particular boosts like the most controversial takes to the top, regardless of what side it's on. It's just like the most ridiculous, like whatever. Instagram, you have this this like comparison contest. It like turns into this weird thing where you're just like constantly chasing this algorithm that changes all the time, and you never just it really to me it kind of like messes with my head a lot. And I really want to when I start hiring people, I want to hire someone to help me build the helmets, and I want to hire someone to do my social media, just because it's just like it's I kind of one thing I've kind of struggled with social media in general is just like I think the companies, they know what they're doing to people. Like they know that it's really harmful for people's mental health, especially like kids growing up. And I feel it's kind of tough feeling like if I'm posting something, I'm kind of like fueling that monster. But you have to if you want to have any kind of business or be able to get yourself out there at all. But I think that for me at least, bringing someone else on to just kind of manage that would definitely be a good. So if you're listening to this and you're good at social media,
hit my boy up, FestiHeads.
But yeah, no, it's the thing about social media though, it really kind of is what you make it. Like if you follow people that are tweeting controversial things and just tweeting things or saying things that are promoting things that you don't really agree with, you're just gonna get sucked into this little thing. So I really try to kind of scrub my feeds and just follow things that inspire me. Like I'm a big NASA fan, I love SpaceX, I'm a big fan of Tesla, like people that get things done. There's a lot of podcasts I listen to, and I try to just focus on that. It's definitely one thing. Last year at the end of the year, I was just like, you know what, this, obviously politics matter and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the
I
day,
don't post about politics, man.
yeah,
It's
no,
it's a huge rule for me. It's like I can't even post up. Okay, like let's put this for instance. I posted that I was gonna vote libertarian. It's in the middle. I'm not picking
yeah,
a side. I'm not picking one or the other. And someone literally fought me on Instagram saying that I'm a waste of a vote. I'm a trash human being. I can't believe that I would want to let the other side win. And like,
yeah,
for all you know, I would rather vote for the other side then. Like, you don't know
yeah,
me. What?
yeah,
Like, what makes you think that your side is so right? And then
that,
they started claiming certain aspects about who they are as a person, and like, oh well, this is me, and like this is what the rights are taken away from me. I'm like, you don't know anything about me, first of all. Like,
yeah,
next thing I know is like I am unfollowed on Instagram, and I was like, I'm so petty, bro. I just blocked that motherfucker. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
I'm not fighting with you. The fact it's my fault for posting my political views. But I thought since I was voting in the middle that it was a fair game, right? Like, I'm not picking a side. Fair game.
yeah.
Nope, I'm still a trash human being, bro.
Well, to some people, if you don't perfectly agree with everything they say, you're you're an other. You are not on their side, which is
Yeah,
really
yeah,
just like that's a very like childish way to think. Like I really, I try to put myself in, because when someone believes something, you don't know why they believe it. They could, it could be an upbringing thing. It could be, life experiences, steered them in, down a particular path of belief. And I'm a big believer in, like, I think that uh, we should be less like hateful to people that disagree with us, because at the end of the day, it's not, if I believe something and someone's like, you're a fucking idiot, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're right, I'm dumb and I should change my point of view. It's like
yeah.
the
You've
way that,
convinced me. I am now voting for
yeah,
your
oh, you know
political
what? I am
party.
a fucking dumbass. Like, now that I think, sometimes I do have that realization. Like when I'm on my phone and I'm looking for my phone, I'm like talking to someone, and then I'm like, oh, there's my phone in my hand. I'm a fucking idiot, type thing. But uh, I that's definitely one thing I struggle with social media, because on one hand, it's like I want to, I believe in certain things, and like I think that, for example, I don't think it should be super controversial that like we should have clean air and water, like we should move to a future where there's less pollution, and we're doing, helping the the planet that we live on,
Yeah,
because right now it's the only one we've got. And we all live on it together, so we need to fucking work together. This stupid division of like 50 over here and 50 over here is just, it's not productive. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to, on my social media feeds, do I want to, contribute to that, or do I want to be a place to escape from? Like, do I want my content to always be happy and always be, like, I really want to, like lately the posts I've been making are longer, and um, I know that most people don't read longer posts, but I try to, I want my social media feed to be like impactful as much as they can be.
yeah.
Um,
You know what's
and
funny is my roommate, bless his heart though. But the things that he says sometimes, it's like he tells me that he follows half the girls like on Instagram, stuff like that, because like they show a lot of ass. Like, he's like, honestly, he's like, I've never once read their captions. I don't care about their captions. Just show me the ass. I'm just like, dude, that resonates so deeply to me, because I'm not a girl and I have no ass. So like, then in my case, I'm expecting people to just like be reading my captions and shit. But like, I think if I find it really funny, like some of these girls, like they really do be like posting like some really long captions and stuff like that. And then there's people like my roommate who they'll never look at those captions. They literally are like, where's those ass pictures? I just need ass. That's like that is some guy mentality, right? So 'cause, like I think a big portion of dudes are like that, and I find it really heartwarming when, like, for instance, I was at EDC Orlando, dude, and the amount of times that I got stopped and was like, hey, like, I follow you, like, I just want to say congrats for leaving the army, this and this. I'm like, you read like my caption thing? Like, he's like, yeah, dude, congrats and all stuff. Like, so it's like it was really heartwarming to see, like, at least at least for me, people reading my captions.
It's weird when someone recognizes you, isn't it? Like it's not like it happens, every 5 seconds, but when FestiHeads got really weird for me, and honestly, this is kind of one thing that I had trouble dealing with, was like, I was at Okeechobee, and like, I didn't bring a shirt, didn't bring a hat, didn't bring a helmet, didn't bring a car, nothing. Like, literally just went as Dillon. And I'd be walking through the crowd, and it happened 4 or 5 times where somebody that I had like never met before was like, yo, what's up, Dillon? And I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, who are you? Like, and they're like, I'll follow you on Instagram. Like, I love your helmets. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is so wild. And it's kind of hard because it's like, it makes me feel like I'm under a microscope. Like, I find it's like, I got to be on my absolute 100% best behavior at any point. Because, first of all, I don't want to be a dick to anyone, but second, it's like, you're an asshole to someone. And they post about it on social media. It's like, it could start something you don't want to deal with. So yeah. But it definitely, it's cool. Like, overall I like it, but it definitely, when I first started building helmets, that was not the plan. Like, that wasn't like, I'm gonna build these.
I never, like, I think what really does it is, like, what's different than me versus like a bunch of like other pages and stuff like that is like my face is my brand, like, literally. So it's like, my face has my vlogs, my face has my podcast, my face has my Instagram, TikToks, so I get noticed a lot, and I don't realize it, like, people like recognize my face so much. But I do a pretty good job of like posting every day, like, between TikTok and like YouTube and Instagram, and post a lot. So like, very high, that like people will recognize me and stuff like that. And I told my buddy, I was like, it's like, man, like, how does everybody know, like, that I got out of the army? Like, how do, like, these people that I don't really know personally, like, know? And my buddy's like, well, you like told everybody on Instagram. I'm like, but like, that means people have read my captions, and people like are really invested in like this, in like my brand, at the point where like they're like recognizing me. And it's a lot to take in sometimes. I definitely have gotten used to it over the years. I was with Garrett Winslow or Winslet. Garrett Winslet. Oh God, what is his last name? Winslet, I think. Sorry, Garrett. But he's dressing up like Rave Tina, right? He decided to do his whole rave personality be this, like, Tina Raves type of personality.
Yeah.
And he's getting stopped for pictures every so often, this and this, and I'm walking with him, and I'm like boosting him out. I'm like, bro, you're gonna be a celebrity. We're gonna fucking make you famous, dog. And then he goes, it's a bit overwhelming. How do you, like, you, Emma, and A to do it? Like, you guys get stopped every single time. He's like, I've only been getting stopped recently, and like, it's a lot. And I'm like, bro, honestly, I don't know about Emma and Aid, but like, for me, it's fun. Like,
yeah, no, it's definitely, I'm lucky in that, like, it's kind of weird because like when I first started making helmets, part of the reason I made them was because like I would take pictures with people at festivals and like, just look. I was like, oh my God, those pictures can never see. I mean, they're on the internet, just eyes glowing, like, just hair all fucked up, just looking rough. Part of the reason was like, I just kind of wanted to like be anonymous.
Yeah.
And then like now when I put the helmet on, I'm not anonymous. Like, people are like, not everyone, but like enough to where it's like people know who I am. If like, oh, did you get that from FestiHeads?
I also love the helmets because like you know, I like to put glasses on and like whenever people like ask for like a picture, because I
Yeah,
look fucked up in literally half the pictures I take anyways. And I was like, let's take a good picture so you put something on and you look good, you know. I
yeah,
think it does a great job at concealing how fucked up you are and just like,
yeah.
especially
No,
because like me, I put on like face makeup and stuff, and that shit smears sometimes, and I just look like I got beat up and rolled around in the dirt, you know, like that's what it looked like at the end of the night, like somebody just stomped on me all night, and I'm like, so sometimes like having like a a helmet on or something will kind of get rid of that, but
yeah, it's definitely it's fun because it's like when you're when you're wearing one, you kind of feel like it's. I mean, before it kind of became known as FestiHeads, like
mhm.
I just kind of felt like a celebrity, like wearing one because people were like, "Yo, you want to take a picture?" And like I've always been pretty shy. Like I, I put myself out there is kind of hard. So it's cool, like people, going out of their way to be like, "Yo, that's sick," and like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And or you want like that kind of thing. Um, but it's weird. Like now, when I want to just like enjoy the night at a festival, I don't wear one, and I just like go
Yeah.
with. Um, but I think one of the things I think I'm going to do is uh, start posting more of myself rather than like me wearing a helmet, which is going to be tough for sure. I'm very very critical of myself.
Yeah, I personally think that you should move to doing totems.
Yeah,
um
it's literally what. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Helmet, a different style of helmet that I'm working on, and then I've been kind of prototyping a totem. The plan was to like take the first prototype to Bonnaroo, iterate on it for Imagine, iterate on that for Lost Lands, and then kind of go into something where I'm wanting to go.
Mhm.
Um, but then the first two festivals got canceled, so because it's like you can
Yeah.
build something. At least for me, like I can build something and it works great, in my living room.
Mhm.
But then going from using it in the living room, taking pictures with it, to wearing it to a festival or using it at a festival is two totally different things. And I really don't want to. I want to make things that last and that don't, that you can use over and over again and look cool. And I definitely totems are that's what I want to do next.
Yeah, dude, they are blowing up right now, like light up totems. I mean, they're seeing their like 15 minutes of fame right now. Like everyone's getting them, and it's definitely a thing that people are investing in. It's a lot of money, but it's one of those things that like people are willing to invest in something that they're going to be using for literally years to come, you
Yeah,
know? Same
yeah. I
thing with
mean,
your helmets. I mean, people are going to keep
yeah,
using them. Although
yeah.
I wanted to ask, what is in your helmets? Like
Oh,
what
so the inside is kind of like a smaller helmet.
okay.
Um, so it basically they're all kind of the ones that have the inside pieces are like at the bottom, so I don't want to take it's a pain in the ass to take that
Oh,
pyramid down.
gotcha. Okay.
Basically, you can change the outside like a phone skin. So like for um
Oh, so you could just replace them
yeah,
then. Oh, that's
yeah.
badass.
So like
Okay.
EDC, like I wore that one the first night and then that one the second night. But it's actually kind of the same helmet. I just put a different skin on it. And then it's pretty quick
Oh, I
change.
didn't know that you could do that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then the inside has like a mounting harness. And then you can opt to put a fan in them. So it kind of
Mhm.
has AC. That's one thing I was gonna say earlier. Like wearing the helmet is actually cooler from like a temperature standpoint because you have air constantly flowing over your face. So like I can wear it for hours and be totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like I got like a little personal AC unit on me, and I think it refreshes the air inside the helmet like 60, 80 times a minute. Like it actually does make a pretty big difference.
What about the
Um,
battery or like battery life, like a regular like
the fan runs off of a little like a lipstick sized USB battery pack.
okay.
You can actually charge your phone off of it if you need to. It's bailed me out a couple times. Um, and then the battery for the lights on the units that have lights in them, that sits. I put it in my lunchbox bag. I guess lunchbox, whatever. And then that lasts for a whole night.
Okay.
Charge it. or swap in a different battery. It's all pretty. I try to make it as, I don't have any engineering experience. I failed out of college twice because I'm an overachiever. And this has definitely been a learning experience. I try to go into it like, this is something made by a 2-time college dropout that doesn't have an engineering degree. So like, it's definitely, there's definitely bugs I've had to work out. But I mean, comparing the first one I made to the one that I just made, yesterday is night and day. It's way lighter, just better put together, better materials, all that kind of stuff. And it's been a fun little journey. And it kind of, part of the reason I started making them for other people was because first of all, I invested so much in making the ones for myself. Now I gotta make them for other people to expect some of my investment back. But also, like, I had so many ideas for helmets that I wanted to build, but I don't have any real use for 100 helmets in my house. I mean, I have I think 25 right now.
So when somebody orders one, you make it like on the spot kind of deal then? You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have recently. I've started moving. I'll have like pre-made ones that I'll sell for less. But yeah, it's like customers or people reach out to me and they're like, hey, like, I like this artist. And then I'll be like, well, what are your favorite colors? Where are you from? Like questions like that. And then I'll come up with some artwork and then we'll go back and forth. Sometimes they're like, the first one, they're like, that's perfect. And then I'm like, it's not perfect. I need to work on it some more. This is just a rough draft. And sometimes it takes a couple tries, but I really, I want people to have something unique and as much as possible. And it's fun. I mean, it's just like a fun little thing. It's kind of like, for me, what's fun for me is just kind of designing them. Yeah, that's the most fun, because it's like I try to model it after things that I learned at Tesla when I was working there. And I definitely need to get better in a lot of areas, but I try to get as close to perfect as I can, which is frustrating because perfection is not possible. But at the same time, it's like I'm going to try very hard to get there, and with every the tools I have available. Obviously, I could make if I had $10,000 to throw at it, I could make something insane. But then most people aren't going to pay $10,000 for a trash can they're wearing their head.
I think most people don't have $10,000. Yeah, not that they don't want to spend it.
Yeah, main thing is most people don't have that much money. But I definitely, I've got plans for future ones. I actually just found out the other day that Mello's playing at the festival I'm going to, Decadence, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So
you are going to Decadence, Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to go anyway because it's like literally 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
But the lineup's pretty good. The weather's gonna be nice. I'm gonna be in Phoenix. It's I wish I could be in 2 places at once because all my friends are going to the Grizz thing in Kentucky. But I'm flying. I've already got my flight back here after Christmas, so I'm just gonna stay in Phoenix. And that's tough because it's like after last year, one of the guys in my rave group passed away. Just something, kind of a freak accident type thing. And usually that group, we have we all come together at New Year's and like Electric Forest are the 2 big festivals for us. And then, but this year people were kind of going to different ones. Some people were going to Colorado, some people were going to Florida, some people were going to California.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Texas.
Yeah, I was stuck between going to Decadence, Arizona, Countdown here in Orlando, or Hijinks. Now Live Nation hit me up to see if I wanted some free tickets for Hijinks, and I was like, oof, that'd be nice. But I'm not a fan. Like I saw the Festival Finesser vlogs, and it was like one stage. It was like indoors. I don't know. It was very like, I don't know. I don't think I want to spend New Year's in a 1 stage indoor venue.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at too.
Yeah,
Philly also seems like it'd be really cold in January, late December, early January. I'm not a cold weather person.
I'm not either.
why big reason I moved to Phoenix was because it doesn't really get cold. But you know,
it's kind of why I don't do Colorado Decadence anymore. It's like obviously it's an indoor venue, but once you get outside, it's fucking freezing, dude.
Were you there in 2 years ago when it was like -4 degrees or something like that? Like
Yeah.
it was
Fucking 3 years ago, man, there was a fucking blizzard, and
Yeah.
we were in our hotel room, and we decided to fucking Uber to the event, and our Uber was literally braking with his e-brake the entire time, and I was like, oh my god, this is like not safe, bro. I'm like
Tokyo Drift. Like
I'm straight up not having a good time right now. Like this dude is gonna get us killed.
You've got in an Uber where you're like, I'm pretty sure this guy is fucked up right now.
Bro, this guy pulls up in some like 82 Cadillac or some shit, bro. This is what our Uber was. And literally, takes us downhill, and he's just e-braking the entire time. And I'm like, something just doesn't seem right now. Like, I feel like I'm gonna fucking die. I'm like, he doesn't have 4-wheel drive. He doesn't have chains. Like, there's snow up to like 4 inches. I'm like, we would have been safer just walking to the venue. It was like a 30-minute walk, but like, I have cloaks and shit. I'm fine. I had a onesie on. Like, I'm ready to walk this bitch. But that's kind of why I don't do Decadence Colorado. I don't even consider cold events anymore, which is probably why I don't want to go to Philadelphia. But
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I just warm is where it's at. And
I have a lot of friends though going to hijinks, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have some friends going to it too. The lineup looks cool. I just if I've got the ability to go to a festival, it's like literally 15 minutes away.
That's where I'm at too.
Bunch of artists that I want to go to.
Yeah, fucking Countdown Orlando is literally 15 minutes from my house. It'd be stupid to not go to my hometown festival.
Yeah. That's and especially like I've kind of always wanted to try the Arizona one out.
Dude, honestly, I'll be fucking honest, man. It is my favorite festival for New Year's that I've ever, like, out of all the festivals I've been to for New Year's, it's definitely my favorite. So
yeah, and Colorado, that's
I've been to a lot. I've been to a lot of New Year's ones. I've been to the Insomniac White Wonderland one in LA. I've been to the OMFG one twice in San Diego. I've been to Decadence, Arizona about 5 times. I've been to Decadence, Colorado once. I even did fucking a Colorado drive-in rave for New Year's fucking last year when there was no festivals. Still, man, like Decadence, Arizona has my heart, man. It's been very good to me, and I think 2 years ago it was like life-changing, dude. It was like, Festival Depression hit me so hard 2 years ago. It's a great fucking festival, man. Like, it does rain sometimes, so be wary that check the weather. If it rains and stuff, it's not a big deal. It just rains for a little bit, and then and they have like the barn available, so you could just go into the barn while it rains.
Yeah.
I think a few years ago I was working with the Rave with GenZ selling like the Rave Runner hydration packs. So I was vending, and that's where I said it was kind of like life-changing and stuff, because I got on stage with AC Slater, man, and like I was literally on the decks with him, just like literally dancing with AC Slater in my onesie, bro. Like, it's just life changing, bro. That festival, fucking great.
Is that something you kind of like? I've kind of had to learn that, having that life-changing experience, like if you're looking for it at a festival, it's kind of hard to find, but it kind of just happens. Like definitely, I kind of,
I've had to learn not to find it, and just, if it happens, it happens. And for me, it just happens a lot, right? So I've had to like humble myself and just not look for that kind of shit, because it's, then I'm like spending all night trying to find a way of getting up there or getting back there and stuff like that. Oh my God. And I shouldn't be doing that. I should just fucking, because honestly, that's nice and that's cool and everything, but I honestly have a better time just hanging out with my friends. Like that's great and all, but I mean, I really kind of like, I was looking at EDC Orlando. Not once did I get backstage at EDC Orlando. I could have, My friend, you know her, Deepler Princess.
Yeah.
She
I don't know if I've ever actually met her, but I know who she is.
Yeah, so she could have got me backstage or whatever, but I didn't ask. And I don't know, it's not something that I was like looking forward to. I was having such a fucking blast, bro, just hanging out with my friends and stuff, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking back at the memories and stuff, just hanging out with your friends and stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, honestly, that's like always the best part for me. I really enjoy people watching too. It's just funny to like just see, you look in the crowd and like you see someone that's just unbelievably lit. You see someone wearing those like T-Rex costumes. One thing that's really kind of like, I've seen this kind of like take off, or like these pages where like people send in like videos of other people at festivals and the person's like fucked up, like clearly like like their eyes are doing whatever, and like I, you know part of me is like, if I see someone at a festival and they're like recording someone that's like fucked up or whatever, like it just, I haven't actually seen it in person, but I feel like it would really make me like upset if I saw that, because like to me, a fest is, if you're not hurting anyone, like obviously if you're being a fucking creep, like fuck you, don't do that. But if somebody's just having a good time and they're like, whatever, like don't take a video of them and like, blast it to the, Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or whatever. Like it's just not fucking cool. Like, would you want someone to do that? If you're having or if they're having a bad time, like they may look like they're having a good time, but they might be having like the worst time of their life because they're too fucked up. It happens a lot to people. And I just really like, that just seems, that's just not cool. Like I think that you should feel free to like be yourself and dance however you want to dance, and like as long as you're not hurting anyone or like being an asshole.
Yeah. And wear sunglasses in case that does happen to you.
Or Layz.
Or whatever, wear a helmet, man. Wear a Festi head, dude. Like I've learned to just, you look less crazy with glasses on, bro. Even if it's in the middle of the fucking night, bro. You look less crazy with glasses on.
Yeah. I need to. So I actually do not own a pair. I've lived in Arizona for about a year, and I still don't own a pair of sunglasses. I don't know how I've made it that long, but I need to get a good pair. The problem is when I get a good pair, they last. They're not with me very long before they get stepped on, lost, dropped in the river. Last summer, I went through, I think, 3 pairs of good sunglasses, and then I just bought some cheapos that, of course, those lasted. I think I still have them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the being lit at a festival, it feels like you should be able to just enjoy it and not have to worry about some person taking a picture or video of you and posting it to whatever so they can get some fake likes, cloud or whatever.
All right, Mr. Dillon, Mr. FestiHeads. I appreciate you fucking coming on the podcast, man. I know we were thinking about having you on was like 2 months ago or something like that. It's just my schedule's been filled up with the other guests and stuff. I definitely had a great fucking time, man, talking to you. I love always catching up to you. So sad you didn't make it to EDC Orlando, man.
Me too.
You're always more than welcome in my house, man, if you ever want to stay over. But yeah, you already had home base, so I mean that wasn't an incentive at all. So
yeah, I definitely, there's I'm a big space fan, and I want to be in Florida. There's a couple rocket launches that I want to see in the coming year. I definitely want to like. That's honestly like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's seeing there's a SpaceX launch during Okeechobee. And like I actually left Base Nectar because I was like, I'm gonna see, I'll be able to see him again, like whatever. That was literally the last show he ever played.
Yeah, well.
Seen him like, that was definitely the coolest. But yeah, I'd love to see you sometime. Are you going to Okeechobee?
I am, yeah.
I think I'm gonna do that one. I think that's gonna be my first one.
I signed up to be an ambassador for every festival in Florida already.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so I'm an ambassador for literally every festival right now in Florida. So shouldn't be missing any except for Ultra. I just I have a contract. I'm not allowed to even promote Ultra. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just logistics. All right, but for our viewers out there, this episode will be out on Friday. Every other future episode will be out on Friday as well. You can find this on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. But for now, until the next one,